A billionaire's empire crumbles under the weight of a secret he buried 15 years ago. Nathan Carter, Silicon Valley's untouchable tech titan, thought he'd erased Emily Harris from his life, a maid he fired after a fleeting affair, discarded like a faulty prototype. But when he follows her to a rundown Oakland apartment, suspecting theft, his world implodes. 3 identical boys, his sons, greet her at the door, their faces mirroring his own. The truth hits like a market crash. Emily, the woman he scorned, has raised his children alone, defying his betrayal. Now, Emily's not just surviving. She's built Horizon Innovations, a tech giant rivaling Nathan's own. As whispers of his past ignite a media firestorm, Nathan faces a reckoning at San Francisco's most exclusive gala, where Emily's poised to expose him before the elite. Will her vengeance destroy him? Or will his desperate plea for redemption sway her? From betrayal to triumph, this is a story of resilience, revenge, and the family that rewrote Silicon Valley's rules. Where are you watching from? What time is it? Subscribe now, and let's dive into Emily Harris's extraordinary journey. Rain streaked the tinted windows of Nathan Carter's Bentley as he trailed Emily Harris's battered sedan through Oakland's dimly lit streets. The CEO of Carter Tech, a Silicon Valley behemoth valued at $12 billion, gripped the steering wheel, his jaw tight. Emily, his quiet, unassuming maid, had been acting strange, missing shifts, avoiding eye contact. He'd found a missing Rolex in his Palo Alto mansion, and suspicion gnawed at him. A thief in his home was unacceptable. He'd confront her tonight, ensure she never worked in the Bay Area again. The sedan pulled into a cracked parking lot outside a weathered apartment complex, its faded paint peeling under flickering streetlights. Nathan parked a block away, pulling his coat collar up against the drizzle, and followed on foot. Emily, her dark hair tied back, carried a grocery bag, her steps heavy with exhaustion. She climbed the stairs to a second-floor unit, the door creaking open. Nathan lingered in the shadows, expecting to catch her fencing stolen goods. Instead, 3 small voices pierced the night. "Mommy." 3 boys, no older than 3, identical in their curly hair and wide eyes, rushed to hug her. Nathan froze, his breath catching. Their faces, his eyes, his nose, stared back at him. His mind raced, calculating the impossible. Emily, the woman he dismissed as beneath him, was raising his sons. The Rolex, the suspicions, all crumbled under the weight of this truth. He stumbled back, heart pounding, as memories of their brief affair 4 years ago flooded in, a summer of stolen moments, her laughter in his mansion's library, promises he never meant to keep. He'd sent her away when she mentioned a future, assuming she'd vanish. But here she was, in this crumbling complex, nurturing his blood. Nathan's phone buzzed, a board meeting reminder, but he couldn't move. The boys' laughter echoed, each giggle a rebuke to his arrogance. Emily knelt, kissing their foreheads, oblivious to his presence. He wanted to storm in, demand answers, but shame rooted him. How had he missed this? His empire was built on precision, yet he'd overlooked the most critical data point, his own children. The rain soaked through his coat as he watched Emily close the door, her silhouette soft against the warm light inside. Nathan's world, once unassailable, felt fragile. He'd built Carter Tech on ruthless decisions, but this wasn't a merger he could undo. Emily wasn't just a maid. She was the mother of his heirs, and her strength mocked his wealth. As he retreated to his car, the realization hit. This secret could unravel everything. Silicon Valley thrived on image, and his was now at risk. Emily's quiet resilience, her ability to raise 3 boys in poverty, challenged everything he valued. He drove back to Palo Alto, the city's glittering skyline mocking his turmoil. Tomorrow, he'd investigate, hire detectives, dig into her life. But tonight, he was just a man, staring at the truth he'd tried to erase. The boys' faces haunted him, their innocence a mirror to his guilt. Emily Harris, the woman he'd cast out, held power he couldn't buy. And Nathan Carter, for the first time, feared what came next. Nathan Carter sat in his Palo Alto penthouse, the city's skyline glittering through floor-to-ceiling windows. But his mind was trapped in Oakland's shadows. The boys' faces, his sons, burned in his memory, their laughter a relentless accusation. He poured a scotch, the amber liquid trembling in the crystal glass. How had Emily Harris, a woman he deemed insignificant, kept this secret? His empire, Carter Tech, thrived on control. Yet he'd missed this seismic truth. The boys were his, born from a summer fling he'd buried. He'd been 32, Emily 24, her coding skills a quiet brilliance he'd admired but never valued. Their affair had been a diversion, her warmth a contrast to Silicon Valley's cold ambition. But when she'd hinted at commitment, he'd cut her off, offering a severance check and a one-way ticket out of his life. She'd left without a fight, or so he thought. Now, the evidence of his miscalculation lived in a crumbling apartment, raised by a woman he'd underestimated. Nathan's phone buzzed, his COO reporting a stock dip, but he ignored it. He paced, replaying the night's revelation. Those boys, with his sharp cheekbones, were a mirror to his arrogance. Emily's resilience, raising them alone, mocked his wealth. He'd assumed she'd falter, but she'd endured. His mind churned. Were they healthy? Did they know him? The question stung, each a crack in his polished facade. He opened his laptop, searching Emily Harris Oakland. No social media, no trace. Her invisibility was deliberate. He hired a private investigator with a single email, demanding details by dawn. But the deeper truth gnawed at him. Emily hadn't just survived. She'd defied him. Her strength, forged in hardship, was a rebuke to his privilege. Nathan's empire was built on acquisitions, but this wasn't a deal he could close. He recalled her eyes, bright with dreams, now likely hardened by his betrayal. The boy's existence challenged his narrative of invincibility. Silicon Valley worshipped him, but what was his legacy if his own flesh and blood lived in poverty? He drained his scotch, the burn failing to dull his unease. Emily's apartment, with its peeling paint, was a stark contrast to his $20 million penthouse. Yet her love for those boys, evident in their joyful embrace, held a wealth he couldn't buy. Nathan's boardroom victories felt hollow. He'd crushed rivals, but Emily's quiet endurance was a different kind of power. He considered confronting her, demanding access to his sons, but the thought felt hollow. What right did he have? He discarded her, assuming she'd break. Instead, she'd build a family without him. The investigator's report would come, but Nathan already knew the truth. Emily Harris was no thief. She was a mother, a survivor, and a threat to his carefully curated world. As dawn broke, painting the skyline gold, Nathan stared at his reflection in the glass. The man who'd conquered tech looked back, but his eyes held doubt. Emily's secret had shattered his assumptions, exposing the fragility of his empire. He built Carter Tech on certainty, but now uncertainty ruled. The boys' faces lingered, a challenge he couldn't ignore. Emily Harris, the maid he'd erased, had rewritten his story, and Nathan Carter, for the first time, didn't know the ending. 4 years ago, Emily Harris stood in Nathan Carter's Palo Alto mansion, her heart racing as she clutched a pregnancy test. The marble kitchen gleamed under soft lighting, a stark contrast to her trembling hands. She'd been his maid for a year, but their summer affair had blurred the lines. Nathan, with his sharp suits and sharper mind, had drawn her in with late-night talks about code and dreams. He'd called her brilliant, his eyes lingering as she debugged his personal projects. She'd believed his whispers of a future, marriage, a family. Now, at 24, she faced him, her voice steady despite the fear. "Nathan, I'm pregnant." His face, usually warm with charm, hardened. He leaned against the counter, his Rolex glinting. "You're sure?" he asked, voice clipped. She nodded, hope flickering. He sighed, loosening his tie. "This isn't part of the plan, Emily." Her stomach sank. "Plan?" She'd thought they were building something real. "I thought you loved me," she said, her voice breaking. Nathan's laugh was cold, a sound she'd never heard. "Love? You're refreshing, Emily, but you're not my world. A coder from Oakland doesn't fit in Silicon Valley's elite." Each word sliced deeper, her dreams crumbling. He pulled out a checkbook, scribbling with clinical precision. $50,000. Take care of it. We'll pretend this never happened. Emily's vision blurred with tears, but rage steadied her. She tore the check, pieces fluttering like broken promises. "This is our child," she whispered. Nathan's eyes narrowed, his voice ice. "You're a distraction. Leave tonight, or I'll make sure you never work again." Her world shattered. She'd moved into his mansion, believing his lies, only to be discarded. Emily packed her belongings, her hands shaking as Nathan's assistants watched, their faces blank. She'd been a scholarship kid, coding her way through community college, dreaming of tech stardom. Nathan had seemed like her ticket, a mentor, a lover. But he'd used her, his promises as empty as his heart. She stepped into the rain, her suitcase heavy, the mansion's lights fading behind her. Oakland's familiar streets welcomed her back, but her mother's tiny apartment was her only refuge. "What happened, baby?" her mother asked, arms open. Emily collapsed, sobbing. "He didn't want us." Her mother held her, whispering strength. Emily vowed to protect her child, to prove Nathan wrong. She'd code again, build a future, not for him, but for her baby. Days later, she took a diner job. The grease and noise a far cry from Nathan's sterile world. Whispers followed. Nathan's influence blacklisted her from tech jobs. Her coding dreams felt distant, but her resolve grew. She'd been naive, trusting his charm, but never again. Nathan's betrayal was a wound, but it fueled her. She'd raise her child with love, not wealth. As she scrubbed tables, her hand rested on her stomach. A silent promise to her unborn baby. Nathan Carter had broken her heart, but he wouldn't break her spirit. Emily Harris, the woman he dismissed, would rise, not for revenge, but for herself. The mansion's memory faded, replaced by Oakland's gritty hope. She didn't know she carried triplets, or that her fight was just beginning. But in that moment, Emily chose survival. Her broken promises forging a new path. Emily Harris wiped sweat from her brow, the din of Oakland's Sunrise Diner a relentless hum. At 24, she balanced trays of coffee and pancakes, her pregnant belly hidden under a loose apron. Nathan Carter's betrayal had left her jobless in tech, his influence blacklisting her from Silicon Valley startups. She'd returned to her mother's cramped apartment, its peeling wallpaper a stark contrast to Nathan's mansion. Rent was due, and her coding dreams were buried under survival's weight. Each shift stretched her body and spirit, her feet swelling, her heart heavy with rejection. "Order up," the cook barked, and Emily forced a smile, delivering plates to truckers and locals. Her mother, Clara, watched her with worry, slipping extra groceries into their shared fridge. "You're pushing too hard, baby," Clara said nightly, but Emily shook her head. "We need this." The wheat was her unborn child, a promise she'd protect at all costs. Nights were spent hunched over a second-hand laptop, freelancing for $10 an hour coding gigs. Her scholarship to community college had lapsed, classes impossible with her schedule. Sleep was a luxury, stolen in 3-hour bursts. Morning sickness struck hard. The diner's grease turning her stomach, but she swallowed nausea and kept moving. "Table 5 needs ketchup," a coworker snapped, and Emily nodded, ignoring the ache in her back. She'd been a coder, debugging complex algorithms, but now she was invisible, just another waitress in a fading uniform. Nathan's words, "You don't fit in my world," echoed, fueling her resolve. She'd prove him wrong. Not for him, but for her child. Clara helped, cooking dinners and folding laundry, her silent support a lifeline. Emily saved every penny, her bank account a meager $200. But she budgeted ruthlessly: diapers, crib, formula. The future loomed, a mountain she'd climb alone. At the diner, regulars tipped kindly, sensing her struggle, but pity stung. She wasn't broken, just rebuilding. Late nights, she coded in the dark, her laptop's glow a beacon of hope. A small app she built for a client earned praise, a flicker of her old dream. But exhaustion crept in. Her eyes burning, her body begging for rest. One night, she collapsed on the couch, Clara draping a blanket over her. "You're stronger than he'll ever be," Clara whispered. Emily clung to that, her mother's faith a shield against despair. The diner's chaos faded as she imagined her child's face, a reason to endure. She applied for more freelance gigs, her portfolio growing despite rejections. Nathan's shadow lingered. Rumors he'd spread about her unreliability hurt her chances, but she persisted. A local nonprofit hired her to build a website, paying $500, a small victory. Emily banked it, dreaming of a tiny apartment for her and her baby. The diner's fluorescent lights buzzed, mirroring her fatigue, but she kept moving. Each step was defiance. Each dollar saved a brick in her new foundation. She didn't know she carried triplets, or that her struggle was just beginning. But Emily Harris, cast out by Silicon Valley's elite, was forging a path. Nathan's wealth couldn't match her grit. As she scrubbed tables, her hand rested on her belly, whispering, "We'll make it." Oakland's gritty streets held her close, and Emily, broken but unbowed, fought for a future she'd define. Emily Harris sat in the worn chair of Oakland's community clinic, the hum of fluorescent lights amplifying her nerves. At 10 weeks pregnant, she clutched her purse, her diner apron still smelling of grease. The room was cramped, its outdated equipment a far cry from Silicon Valley's sleek medical suites. Dr. Lena Thompson, a warm-eyed physician with graying braids, smiled as she prepared the ultrasound. "Let's see your little one," she said, spreading gel on Emily's stomach. Emily's heart raced, her first glimpse of the child she'd fight for, despite Nathan Carter's betrayal. The screen flickered. A grainy black and white world revealing her future. Dr. Thompson's brow furrowed, her wand pausing. "Well, now," she said, adjusting her glasses. "Emily, do you see these 3 distinct shapes?" Emily leaned closer, her breath catching. 3 pulsing dots, each a tiny heartbeat, danced on the screen. "3?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Dr. Thompson nodded, her smile wide. "Congratulations, you're carrying triplets. All with strong heartbeats." The room spun. Triplets. 3 babies, not 1. Emily's mind raced, 3 mouths to feed, 3 futures to secure. All on her $8 an hour diner wages. Fear clawed at her, but resolve hardened beneath it. These were her children, and she'd protect them. Dr. Thompson explained the risks preterm labor. Nutritional demands, but Emily's focus was the screen, her baby's heartbeats a defiant rhythm. She'd been ready for 1 child, but 3? The weight was crushing, yet it fueled her. Nathan's rejection, his cold dismissal, felt smaller against this miracle. "You'll need extra care," Dr. Thompson said, handing her a pamphlet. "We'll help you through it." Emily nodded, her mind already budgeting for triple the diapers, cribs, and dreams. Leaving the clinic, Oakland's gray sky mirrored her turmoil. She walked to the diner, her shift starting in an hour, but paused at a park bench. 3 babies. She rested her hand on her stomach, whispering, "We'll be okay." Her mother, Clara, would be stunned but supportive, her small apartment already cramped. Emily's coding gigs, meager as they were, would need to triple. She'd been blacklisted from tech, Nathan's influence lingering, but she'd find a way. At the diner, she moved mechanically, pouring coffee as her mind churned. A coworker, Maria, noticed her pale face. "You okay?" She asked. Emily forced a smile. "Just tired." She couldn't share the truth, not yet. Triplets were her secret, her strength. That night, in Clara's apartment, Emily broke the news. Clara's eyes widened, then softened. 3 blessings, she said, hugging Emily. Emily nodded, tears falling. Clara's faith was her anchor. She stayed up late, coding a freelance app, her laptop's glow a lifeline. Each line of code was a step toward stability. Nathan's world, his wealth. His power felt distant. He'd never know these children, and Emily vowed they'd never need him. Her babies deserved love, not his cold calculations. The clinic's pamphlet lay open, a reminder of the challenge ahead. Emily traced the ultrasound image, 3 tiny shapes etched in her heart. She was 24, alone, and exhausted, but these triplets were her purpose. Oakland's struggles couldn't break her. Emily Harris, the woman Nathan discarded, was building a family, and no betrayal could stop her. 15 years transformed Emily Harris from a diner waitress to Silicon Valley's unsung titan. Oakland's gritty streets, once her battleground, faded as she built Horizon Innovations, a tech empire valued at $9 billion. Her triplets, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, grew into brilliant teens, their laughter filling a modest but warm Oakland home. Emily's journey was relentless. After the triplets' birth, she juggled motherhood and coding, freelancing at night while Clara watched the boys. Her diner shifts dwindled as freelance gigs grew, apps, websites. Then a breakthrough AI algorithm for a local startup. That $10,000 contract was her seed, planted in sleepless nights. She taught herself advanced machine learning. Her secondhand laptop a portal to possibility. Nathan Carter's blacklist faded as her reputation spread. By 30, Emily launched Horizon, a company revolutionizing AI-driven healthcare. Her innovation, a diagnostic tool saving thousands, earned her quiet acclaim. She avoided Silicon Valley spotlight, focusing on her son's education and her mother's comfort. Clara, now retired, beamed at Ethan's coding competitions, Caleb's debate wins, and Noah's art. Emily's home, though simple, was a fortress of love. She'd moved from Clara's apartment to a small house, its walls lined with the boys' achievements. Horizon's success was her defiance, proof she'd transcended Nathan's dismissal. Her team, diverse and loyal, shared her vision. Tech for good, not greed. She mentored young coders, especially women of color, remembering her own struggles. Silicon Valley whispered about the Oakland enigma, unaware of her past. Emily kept her story private, her pain buried. The triplets knew only that their father was absent, a choice Emily made to shield them. She'd built a legacy without Nathan's name, her wealth secondary to her family. Horizon's IPO at 38 made her a billionaire, but she stayed grounded, driving a used minivan, cooking dinners with Clara. Her office, a glass-walled space in Oakland, overlooked the city that shaped her. Awards lined her shelves, but the ultrasound photo of her triplets framed beside her desk was her true prize. She'd sacrificed sleep, social life, and dreams of romance, but her son's pride was worth it. Ethan, analytical, coded alongside her. Caleb, fierce, challenged her ideas. Noah, creative, designed Horizon's logo. They were her heart, her reason. Silicon Valley's elite invited her to galas, but she declined, wary of their shallow world. Yet Horizon's growth demanded visibility. A San Francisco tech summit loomed, a chance to announce a Who partnership. Emily agreed, knowing Nathan Carter, now Carter Tech's embattled CEO, would attend. His company, plagued by scandals, was losing ground to Horizon. She didn't seek revenge, but fate had plans. Emily's rise wasn't just personal, it was a movement. Her story, still untold, simmered beneath her success. She'd rebuilt from ashes, her coding skills and grit forging an empire. Oakland's community rallied behind her, local schools benefiting from Horizon's grants. Her mother's pride, her son's strength, anchored her. As the gala neared, Emily prepared, not for Nathan, but for her legacy. She'd face Silicon Valley's elite, her triplets by her side, proving a single mother could outshine a billionaire's betrayal. Emily Harris, once discarded, was now unstoppable, her empire a testament to resilience. The past was a shadow, but her future blazed. Horizon Innovations wasn't just a company. It was her answer to Nathan's cruelty, a beacon for those told they didn't belong. Emily Harris stood in her Oakland office, the city skyline a quiet backdrop to her racing thoughts. Horizon Innovations was thriving, but Nathan Carter's shadow loomed. A San Francisco gala, set to announce Horizon's Who partnership, would put her face-to-face with him. She didn't want revenge, but justice called. For 15 years, she'd buried her story, Nathan's betrayal, his abandonment of their triplets. Now, at 39, she was ready to reclaim her truth. Her sons, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, deserved to know their worth, not Nathan's dismissal. Emily contacted a trusted tech journalist, Sarah Klein, sharing documents. Nathan's $50,000 check, his blacklist emails, her eviction notice from his mansion. "This is my story," Emily said, voice steady. "It's time." Sarah's article, published 48 hours before the gala, hit like a digital earthquake. Headlined "The Billionaire's Secret," Carter Tech CEO abandoned triplets. It detailed Nathan's cruelty, backed by evidence. Social media erupted. Hashtag Carter Betrayal trending globally. Carter Tech's stock plummeted 18% in hours, investors panicking. Emily watched the fallout from her office, her sons beside her. Ethan, 15, scrolled X, reading posts aloud. "Carter's a fraud." Caleb, ever fierce, clenched his fists. "He deserves this." Noah, the artist, sketched silently, his calm belying his anger. Emily's phone buzzed reporters, allies, strangers offering support. She declined interviews, letting the article speak. Silicon Valley's elite, once Nathan's allies, distanced themselves, their silence deafening. His board issued a vague statement, but damage was done. Emily's truth, long suppressed, was a weapon, sharper than Nathan's wealth. She hadn't planned the timing, but fate aligned. The gala was tomorrow. Nathan would face her, not as a maid, but as Horizon's CEO, a billionaire in her own right. Her team prepared a statement for the Who announcement. But Emily added a personal note, hinting at her journey. "Resilience builds empires," she wrote, her words a subtle jab. Oakland rallied behind her, local leaders praising her grit. Clara, her mother, hugged her tightly. "You're unstoppable, baby." The article's reach stunned Emily. CNN, Bloomberg, even international outlets picked it up. Former Carter Tech employees leaked more. Nathan's arrogance, his pattern of discarding talent. His third wife, in a messy divorce, called him heartless on X, amplifying the firestorm. Emily's inbox overflowed with messages from single mothers, inspired by her rise. She read one aloud to her sons. "You showed me I can keep going." Tears welled, but she stayed focused. The gala loomed, a battlefield where Nathan's empire would falter. Emily didn't gloat. She mourned the girl she'd been, trusting Nathan's lies. But that girl had built this woman, unyielding and powerful. Her son's pride fueled her. "We're with you, Mom," Ethan said, his voice firm. Caleb nodded. "He can't hurt us." Noah showed her his sketch, a phoenix rising from ashes. Emily framed it mentally, her symbol. As night fell, she reviewed Sarah's follow-up piece, detailing Horizon's impact. The contrast was stark. Emily's tech saved lives, Nathan's chased profit. The world saw it now. Carter Tech's investors called emergency meetings, Nathan's legacy crumbling. Emily slept fitfully, dreaming of the gala spotlight. Her truth had sparked a reckoning, and she'd face it head-on, not for vengeance, but for her sons, her mother, and the woman she'd become. Emily Harris, once silenced, was now Silicon Valley's loudest voice. The San Francisco Tech Gala glittered under chandeliers. Silicon Valley's elite sipping champagne in the Moscow Center's grand ballroom. Emily Harris, in a sleek navy gown, stood tall, her triplets, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, by her side. Their tailored suits a nod to their mother's empire. Horizon Innovations' partnership announcement was the night's highlight, but whispers of Nathan Carter's scandal buzzed louder. Emily's article had shattered his image. Carter Tech's stock, now down 25%. Nathan, in a strained tuxedo, hovered near the bar, his usual swagger gone. Emily's heart raced as she stepped to the podium. Her son's proud gaze is grounding her. Horizon Innovations is honored to partner with the WHO, she began, her voice clear, delivering AI diagnostics to millions. Applause roared. But her next words stilled the room. 15 years ago, I was a maid, told I didn't belong. I built Horizon from nothing, for my sons, proving resilience outshines betrayal. The crowd murmured. "I starting to Nathan." His face paled, his glass trembling. Emily didn't name him, but the truth hung heavy. She stepped down, her sons embracing her, their unity a silent rebuke. Nathan pushed through the crowd, desperation in his eyes. "Emily, please," he stammered, voice low. 5 minutes. The room watched, tension electric. Ethan, analytical, stepped forward. His voice calm but cutting. "Sir, our family values integrity. You showed none when it mattered. Your request isn't a priority." Caleb's glare echoed his brother's, while Noah's quiet stare held disdain. Nathan flinched, the triplets' rejection a public wound. Emily's heart swelled. Her boys, her strength, had spoken. The crowd parted, some whispering support, others filming. Nathan's allies avoided him, his isolation stark. Emily's team ushered her toward the exit, but she paused, meeting Nathan's gaze. "You chose wealth over family," she said softly. "I chose love." She walked away, her son's arms around her, the gala's lights fading. Outside, San Francisco's fog enveloped them, a metaphor for Nathan's fall. Reporters swarmed. But Emily's security kept them at bay. In their car, Caleb broke the silence. "Did we do okay, Mom?" Emily smiled, tears brimming. "You were perfect." Noah showed her his phone, a viral clip of Ethan's rebuke, captioned "Justice at the Gala." Ethan, ever practical, noted, "Carter Tech's board is meeting tomorrow. He's out." Emily nodded. Her victory bittersweet. She'd exposed Nathan, not for revenge, but for truth. Her son's strength, forged in Oakland's struggles, had shamed a billionaire. The gala's aftermath was swift. Headlines crowned Emily Silicon Valley's phoenix, while Nathan faced calls to resign. Horizon stock soared, investors praising her integrity. Emily didn't gloat. She mourned the years Nathan stole, but celebrated the family she'd built. Her mother, Clara, waiting at home, hugged them all. "You showed the world," Clara said. Emily's triumph wasn't just personal, it was a beacon for the overlooked. The gala had been her stage, her sons her shield. Nathan's empire crumbled, his betrayal laid bare. Emily Harris, once a maid, now stood as Horizon's queen, her legacy unassailable. The triplets, her heart, proved family trumped wealth. As they drove through Oakland, Emily whispered, "We did it." The city's lights, once dim, now blazed for her. Emily Harris sat in her Oakland living room, the morning after the San Francisco gala, sunlight filtering through modest curtains. Her triplets, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, sprawled on the couch, their laughter a balm to the night's intensity. The viral clip of Ethan's rebuke to Nathan Carter looped on Noah's phone, amassing millions of views. "Sir, our family values integrity," Ethan had said, his words now a rallying cry online. Emily's heart swelled. Her sons, at 15, had faced a billionaire and won. The gala had been her triumph. But their unity was her true victory. Clara, her mother, brewed coffee, her pride evident. "You raised warriors," she said, hugging Emily. The world was watching. Headlines hailed Horizon's queen. While Carter Tech's stock crashed 30%, Nathan's resignation imminent. Emily's phone buzzed with messages. Investors, allies, single mothers inspired by her story. She read one aloud. "Your strength gave me hope." Caleb, fierce as ever, grinned. "We showed him, Mom." Ethan, analytical, added, "His board's voting today. He's out." Noah, sketching a new phoenix, said quietly, "He doesn't deserve us." Emily nodded, her victory rooted in family, not vengeance. She'd exposed Nathan's betrayal, but her son's rejection of him sealed his fall. They'd grown in Oakland's grit. Their talents shaped by her love, not Nathan's wealth. The triplets knew their father's story now, a conversation Emily had dreaded. Last night, in the car, she'd explained, "He chose power over us. I chose you." Ethan had hugged her. "You're enough, Mom." Their bond, forged in struggle, was unbreakable. Horizon Innovation's stock soared, its two partnerships cementing Emily's legacy. She declined TV interviews, letting her gala speech stand. Resilience outshines betrayal. Silicon Valley's elite, once Nathan's circle, now courted her, but Emily stayed grounded. Her home, filled with the boys' trophies and Clara's warmth, was her empire. She planned a quiet dinner, lasagna, their favorite, to celebrate, not the headlines, but their unity. Nathan's desperate plea at the gala lingered, his face crumpled as Ethan spoke. Emily felt no pity. He'd chosen his path. Her son's strength, their refusal to bend, mirrored her own. Social media amplified their story, #Horizon Rising trending alongside #Carter Betrayal. A tech blog called Ethan's words the takedown of the decade. Emily smiled, but her focus was her boys. They'd faced Nathan without fear, their loyalty her greatest reward. Clara set the table, humming, her faith in Emily unwavering. "You built this," she said, gesturing to the triplets. Emily's eyes misted. She'd given up romance, rest, and dreams, but her family was worth it. The triplets planned their futures, Ethan in AI, Caleb in law, Noah in design. Horizon would be theirs one day, a legacy of love. Emily's triumph wasn't just Nathan's downfall. It was proving a single mother could rewrite Silicon Valley's rules. Her sons, her heart, stood with her, their unity a fortress. As they laughed, debating pizza toppings, Emily felt peace. Oakland's struggles had shaped them, but love had won. Nathan's empire faded, his name a cautionary tale. Emily Harris, once discarded, was now a beacon, her family's bond stronger than any fortune. The gala spotlight had passed, but her light, her sons, her truth, would endure. She hugged them tightly, whispering, "We're unstoppable." Their laughter, loud and free, was her anthem. Emily Harris stood in Horizon Innovation's Oakland headquarters, announcing the Harris Foundation for Single Mothers, a $100 million initiative to fund education, childcare, and tech training. The press conference buzzed, cameras flashing as her triplets, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, stood proudly beside her. A month after the San Francisco gala, Emily's story had reshaped Silicon Valley. Nathan Carter's resignation from Carter Tech, forced by a board vote, marked his fall, his company's stock now a shadow of its peak. Emily's legacy, however, soared. The foundation was her redemption, turning pain into purpose. "This is for every mother told she's not enough," Emily said, her voice steady. "We rise together." Applause echoed, her sons beaming. Ethan, analytical, had helped design the foundation's app, Caleb, fierce, drafted its mission. Noah, creative, crafted its logo. Their unity, forged in Oakland's struggles, was her greatest achievement. Clara, in the front row, wiped tears. Her faith in Emily now a global inspiration. The foundation's launch capped Emily's journey from Maid to mogul. Horizon's who partnership was saving lives, its AI diagnostics reaching millions. Emily's wealth, now $4 billion, funded schools in Oakland, her community's heart. She remained grounded, living in her modest home, cooking with Clara, mentoring her sons. Nathan's downfall was complete, his mansion sold, his name toxic. Rumors swirled of his retreat to a Caribbean villa, but Emily didn't care. Her focus was forward, or pain a catalyst. The Harris Foundation offered scholarships, coding boot camps, and daycare, empowering women like the young Emily, alone, pregnant, blacklisted. She hired single mothers for Horizon, their grit mirroring hers. Social media hailed her. Hashtag Harris Foundation trended, with stories of women inspired to pursue tech. A young coder thanked Emily on X. "You showed me I belong." Emily replied, "You always did." Her redemption wasn't revenge, it was rewriting the narrative for the overlooked. Her sons, now 15, were her legacy's heart. Ethan aimed for Stanford, Caleb for law school, Noah for art. They'd inherit Horizon, but Emily taught them values, not wealth. "Build for others," she said, their dinner talks blending code and ethics. Clara, now 70, marveled at their growth. "You gave them wings," she told Emily. The gala's fallout lingered. Nathan's ex-employees joined Horizon, drawn to Emily's vision. Silicon Valley's elite, once skeptical, now sought her counsel. But she chose allies carefully, prioritizing integrity. The foundation's first cohort, 50 single mothers, started training, their faces mirroring Emily's hope 15 years ago. She mentored them personally, sharing her story, betrayal, triplets, triumph. "You're enough," she told them, echoing Clara's words. Oakland's streets, once her struggle, now bore her name, a community center dubbed Harris Haven. Emily's redemption was collective, lifting her city with her. As the press conference ended, a reporter asked about Nathan. Emily smiled softly. "My story isn't about him. It's about us." Her sons hugged her, their pride her true wealth. The Harris Foundation was her phoenix, rising from Nathan's ashes. Emily's legacy wasn't just Horizon or billions. It was Ethan, Caleb, Noah, and every mother she'd empower. Silicon Valley had bowed, not to wealth, but to resilience. As she drove home, Oakland's lights glowed, her city's embrace eternal. Emily Harris, once discarded, had redeemed her pain, her family, and her world, proving love builds empires that endure. Emily Harris's journey from a betrayed maid to Silicon Valley's beacon teaches us that resilience and integrity triumph over betrayal. Her story, forged in Oakland's gritty streets, proves true success isn't measured by wealth but by the lives you lift and the love you nurture. Nathan Carter's billions crumbled under his arrogance, while Emily's devotion to her triplets Ethan, Caleb, and Noah built an empire of purpose. Horizon Innovations, valued at $9 billion, saves lives through AI diagnostics, but her true legacy is the Harris Foundation, empowering single mothers with education and opportunity. Emily's pain, once a deep wound, became her unyielding strength, showing adversity can fuel extraordinary greatness. When told she didn't belong in Silicon Valley's elite circles, she rewrote the rules, proving a single mother could outshine a titan. Her son's unity, rejecting Nathan's hollow plea at the gala, underscores that family, not fortune, defines worth. Clara's unwavering support reminds us that love anchors us through life's fiercest storms. Emily's lesson is clear. No one can dim your light if you refuse to break under pressure. Her redemption wasn't rooted in revenge, but in a movement, inspiring millions to rise above their challenges. Her foundation offers hope, training women to code, dream, and thrive, just as she did. Ethan's intellect, Caleb's fire, and Noah's creativity reflect her love, not Nathan's wealth. You, too, can defy those who doubt you, turning pain into power. Your struggles are not your end. They're the spark of your beginning. Share your story of overcoming hardship. Let it light the way for others. Subscribe to our channel, join our vibrant community, and tell us, what's your Phoenix moment, the time you rose from ashes? Where are you watching from? What time is it? Let's build a world where resilience reigns, where every voice matters. Emily's triumph shows that love and grit can reshape destinies, and your story can too. Take that first step, share your truth, and inspire the world to rise with you. Together, we can create a future where no dream is too big, no obstacle too great,